Work sucks, I know. Or the great Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. Sometimes you just want to break stuff. You know how it goes. Work sucks. As I'm on a bus, showing you just some of the commute into New York City. This is Thomas in New York. And it's only fitting that I share this story with you about an individual who I think we could all relate to, in a sense of you're just tired and sick of it all. The mundaneness, the daily routine. Sometimes you just want to scream really, really loud. Or you want to be on an island anywhere but work. Screaming kids at home, you got mortgage payment. You just want to run away and hide. Not forever, just for a few hours. And that's what happened here in New York, a story that went nationwide that I want to share with you as you enjoy the scenes of commuting into the city from a bus. Here you see the city in the background. Mr. Cimillo. And it's Cimillo, Thomas, you big dork. Anyway, William Cimillo at the time, 1947, about 38 years old, father of 3 from the Bronx. And he drove, quote unquote, into the pages of history by taking life by the you-know-what and giving himself a busman's holiday, quote unquote. The term refers to a vacation where you're basically doing the same stuff you'd be doing at work anyway, which is just what Cimillo did. A driver on the BX15, which stands for the Bronx 15 line bus route, where he drove all the way to Florida. Here's the catch. He drove to Florida, that's not the crime. But, well, let me get into the story. By the way, Cimillo, when you look at him, he looked enough like a Ralph Cramden, close to it, if you're familiar with Ralph Cramden from The Honeymooners. Also a bus driver. And that's what even make this an even better story. He had been collecting fares, navigating city traffic for 16 years, which in itself deserves a Academy Award. You know, it's a self-described kind of slave to watch and a schedule, as the Brooklyn Eagle reported at the time. Daydreaming, presumably while driving, Cimillo wondered what would happen if he just, well, sure, this happened to him many of times before. He wondered, well, what would just happen if I say I disobeyed the rules and forgot to look at the watch and did not get to that street corner at the right time? He told the paper in an interview. So began an adventure that on a March day had Cimillo starting his shift on the BX15 route and ending up on Highway 1 bound for Hollywood, Florida, telling himself, "Baby, this is it." End quote. He goes on to say, well, you know, it's one of those things. The same people, the same stops, day in and day out. Today, I just thought I'd try something different. It's a beautiful spring morning, and before he knew it, our friend Mr. Bill was cruising past the White House in Washington, D.C., he saw a truck with a big sign on the side touting Florida, the land of sunshine. And it suddenly, from Mr. Cimillo, seemed like a terrific idea. Once he arrived in Florida, the errant day tripper and father of three reportedly disappeared for 2 weeks. Then called the bus company and asked them to wire him $50 so he could fill the tank and head back home. Then he headed for the local racetrack. No word on how he fared there, where police arrested him and transported him back home in his bus. Cimillo said in the same interview that when he got to Hollywood, Florida, he was out of cash, out of dough. That's where the fun kind of died. Which is just as well, he says, or I could have ended up in Cuba or Mexico. Though Cimillo was indicted for grand larceny, he did, after all, leave town with a city bus. Our hero, one that we could all relate to, didn't do time after all. The bus company, who seemed to be on the side of good in this story, they paid his bill. Now, Cimillo's tale spread, earning him heaps of attention from the press. He was even flown to California for interviews. He had a clean record and all the positive attention. It helped him keep his job for 16 more years. Right? We'd imagine he'd have mixed feelings about this, right? How he felt about doing this job another 16 years. Maybe that little break in that little adventure is something that he needed from the mundane. Now, his family forgave him for skipping town for 2 weeks. He didn't take his family with him on a vacation for 2 weeks, okay? Okay, you could understand, right? When asked if he would do it again, Cimillo replied, "That sort of thing is never as funny the second time around." I could imagine it's not as funny the second time around. And like I mentioned, Mr. Cimillo died in 1975. A fairly quiet life after his bus adventure. His son was a firefighter, and I think he even had a podcast where he explained the busman's holiday. There you see Mr. Cimillo with his bus, and him answering questions about what went through his mind that day. And look, we could all relate, right? I mean, heck, you're just tired. The mundane, a poor guy, mortgage, been working forever. Same thing like he mentioned in that interview. Same faces, same routine, same lunch every day. It gets to you sometimes, right? You just really need to clear your mind sometimes and just start fresh. But it's even back then, I'm sure it was a constant let's go on the move, on the go. You're working in New York City. Even back then, it's one of the bigger cities, and there's always something going on. And like the story goes, they kept him. They understood. Like, we get it. I don't think that would happen in today's times. Definitely not. He worked for that bus company another 16 years before he quit. Couldn't find anything about his retirement story
This stop is East 34th Street
with the
in
bus
Park.
company. When he retired, I'm sure there were jokes to be had all around the table from the company, bus company employees at that time.
Stop requested.
Definitely, that wouldn't work in today's society. All these big companies, it's all about the dollar figure, and they are quick to replace you. Interesting story. Definitely caught my eye when I heard about it. And that's what I wanted to do for you guys. Hopefully, bring you some more of these stories, personal stories in New York. Just, Thomas in New York. My goal is to cover, all these interesting stories about the who, the what, the where, and the why. In New York with a twist, and this is one of these stories. My idol. The only question I would say is, why Hollywood, Florida, and why not Donald and Mickey? Disney. I'm going to Disney World. Was Disney opened in 1947? Hey Alexa, let's try this again. Alexa, when was Disney World opened?
Walt Disney World opened on October 1st, 1971.
Alexa, when did Disneyland open in Florida?
Walt Disney World in Florida opened on October 1st, 1977.
Okay, 1971. All right. Sorry. My timeline is way off. Oh my God. It's time to skedaddle to bed. That's probably what it is. Thomas in New York, bringing you this quick story. I hope you enjoyed the view from the bus. I hope all is well. Bidding you adieu.